Hey guys, welcome back to Dorkforge. My name's Paul, and today we're continuing our Mordenkainen Presents Monsters of the Multiverse Race Overview series. This time we're taking a look at the shadowy elves of the Shadowfell, the Shadar-Kai. So grow your fringe a little bit long, pop Evanescence on the stereo, and we're about to relive that phase of our lives. Now, jumping into it, I will say that this is going to be one of the confusing times for Mordenkainen Presents. It's going to be a little odd in that this is a sub-race. This is a choice that you typically made as an elf, but as they are avoiding using PHB content in Monsters of the Multiverse, presumably waiting for a 2024 release, this is actually published as a standalone race, and as such we will be covering stuff that you would normally get as an elf rather than just the Shadar-Kai part. Kicking off, we have what I want to say is not new art. Could be new art. It looks cool either way. And we can see here in the description something that is a little bit confusing in Monsters of the Multiverse. Now that all races live as long as a human, the actual age you live to if you live longer or shorter is kind of thrown into the description rather than actually being an entry. So this confirms that Shadar-Kai can live to be over 750 years old, just like the PHB elves and their previous counterparts. Now, previously the Shadar-Kai got the Elven +2 dexterity and +1 constitution from being a Shadar-Kai, however they now get the boilerplate change from ASIs to being a +2 and +1 of their choice, or 3 +1s of their choice. And rather than just getting Elvish by default, you can choose a language with your DM that you both agree is appropriate for your character and the campaign. Into the meat of things. Now this is going to be a little bit jumbled up. We'll be covering a mix of what the Shadar-Kai actually gets from Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, a little bit of what the elves get in the PHB, and jumping back and forth. It's just how it's formatted. So first of all, the hallmark feature of the Shadar-Kai is the Blessing of the Raven Queen, and this is the huge, gigantic boost that they have received. This is exactly the same with one key change. If you're unfamiliar with the ability, as a bonus action you teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. Now, when you hit 3rd level, you also gain resistance to all damage when you teleport using this trait until the start of your next turn, which is very, very nice, and you can see why the Shadar-Kai would have been popular. However, in the original Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes version, this was once per long rest, in what I have to hope is an oversight compared to the Eladrin's once per short rest teleport feature. In the republished version, this has changed to number of times per long rest equal to your proficiency bonus. That means that straight away from level 1 you can teleport 30 feet as a bonus action twice per long rest. And that's going to go up to a potential 6 depending how long your campaign is, along with the resistance to all damage rider from 3rd level onwards. This was an amazing ability that you had to really bargain when you had to use it for. The once per long rest was very restrictive. That has been blown wide open now and has made the Shadar-Kai without a doubt a top tier race unto itself, with just one sentence difference in their abilities. They still get the dark vision of the PHB elves, however this is where we start to change. So the PHB elves have Fey ancestry, and so do the Shadar-Kai. However, this is one of the reasons why they need to be separated as their own standalone race, besides not having the reference material in the same book. And that is that Fey ancestry, despite having the same name, is now different. Originally, it was advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and magic can't put you to sleep. In Monsters of the Multiverse, they have dropped the put you to sleep part, and it is now just advantage on saving throws to avoid or end the charmed condition. This is actually a little bit of a nerf and kind of removes one of the, I would say, iconic things about elves. They were really detached from the human notion of sleep, partially by the trance feature, and then also by this preventing them from being put to sleep even by magic. So that is a little bit of a bummer, but this is still a buff overall for the race, and you'll see when we get down to trance. Keen Senses is still in place, you still get Perception as a skill. The Shadar-Kai still gets necrotic resistance, this is identical to previously. However, Trance, despite being an ability in the PHB, has also been changed. Now it's not just resting for 4 hours and getting your long rest and not needing to sleep, which is already pretty potent depending on the campaign. There is now an objective benefit in that when you finish your trance you gain 2 proficiencies that you don't already have, one with a weapon or tool of your choice, each one being a weapon or a tool of your choice. Now these last for up until your next long rest, so you choose these floating proficiencies every day, and they're justifying this by the proficiencies coming from your shared elven memory. This did not need to be there. I am going to speculate that this has been shoehorned into the trance ability to justify the iconic imagery of elves using stereotypical elven weapons without tying it inherently to their race as a culture thing. Which is okay, I guess. It makes this more flexible than just getting the standard weapons from whatever subrace you would get. Instead, folding those proficiencies into the main race. And it's going to open up a lot of possibilities for certain builds where you needed to grab certain things. For example, if you choose a rapier is a martial weapon, and so you would then qualify for taking the fighting initiate feat to grab yourself a fighting style, and then it enables things like a more potent side of using the booming blade or green flame blade cantrip builds rather than using a dagger or something. So that is a surprisingly impactful thing in niche cases, and just another way that this is distinguishing Shadar-Kai from PHB elves, despite having the same ability names, which I really don't like. I don't like that they didn't change what these were called. It does make it confusing. But overall, I gotta say, I love the Shadar-Kai. I loved them previously. I loved that they were constitution-based elves with a teleport, and now I love them even more that they get to do that teleport a more reasonable number of times per day. Arguably a bit too much now, but I'm not going to complain about that. But that's just my ramblings. What do you think of the Shadar-Kai? Do you like their teleport ability? Do you think that proficiency times per day is a little bit too much, given the resistance feature of it? And what do you think of the new Fey Ancestry and Trance abilities? Let us know in the comments section down below. Hit that like button if you've enjoyed this video and found it helpful. And whilst you're down there, why not hit the subscribe button if you haven't already? Every subscriber helps the channel grow. Until next time, I've been Paul, and I'll see you at the Forge.